Hello. Welcome to the deliberation.
Thank you.
People come and put money together on my funeral. No one I'm alive. No one I'm.
We're at war with each other. With you, you're at war with him.
That's
Directly speaking.
that's
Okay? But I do not nurture evil into the child. When I bring my child into the world and they go into society and they learn things, they go to school, they go to work.
From the West is best. From the West is best. So really and truly, are we eating that Tesco chicken?
You need to go to hospital to be treated. The mistake that people make is that they go to church, they follow prayer, and you're not even having any treatment.
people
You need to go to hospital. When I bring my child, people make is that they go to church, they follow prayer, and they learn.
Hello. Welcome to the brand new show, deliberations.
Thank you.
So before I let you guys introduce yourself,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to start off with explaining what we're going to do today.
Okay.
We're going to have a light conversation where I pose some questions, we deliberate over certain topics. Okay? Yeah, at least to give people the understanding, facts, as well as opinions of these certain topics that we're going to talk about. So without further ado, please do introduce yourselves.
Alright, my name is Bantu. I am obviously, I should be obvious. I am from the Congo. I'm an author and also an entrepreneur.
My name is Marlene Mayele is the name, huh? I'm a mother, I'm a mental health activist, and I am an online presenter.
Fabulous. Well, that just leaves me. I'm Charlhene. I am the host for this evening, and I'll be posing you guys some questions. Hopefully, you can give me some insights. So the first part we're going to discuss is questions on coronavirus.
Okay.
Yes, it's the big topic right now, and globally.
Oh,
You okay?
Strong.
Okay. You right? Okay.
I'm with you.
You read it?
I'm with you.
All right. So anyway, I'll start. If we're honest with ourselves, Africa has been comfortable in being the planet's laboratory. I'll start off with that. For many years, I've seen so many different diseases come and go in Africa, Congo specifically. So we had Ebola, malaria, AIDS. You know, in my 30-some years, those are the reoccurring diseases. So my question is why are we, or why were we shocked when the French journalist alluded to COVID vaccines being tested in Africa, / in Congo?
Such a subject.
I'll start with you. Yeah.
First of all, if I could just touch on what you said at the beginning about how Africa's always been a home or the lab of being tested and illnesses such as malaria. Malaria, we could easily get rid of it in Africa, okay? It's a thing about cleaning the streets, the thing about the sewers, because the Western society, the country that we are in now, England, had malaria before in the Victorian time. So it was a thing about cleaning the streets and cleaning the sewers and just having a clean sewer system. If we can have that in Africa, instead of those tunnels where water just goes by anyhow and you fall in it without it being covered, you sort that, you get rid of dirt, your malaria issue is sorted. COVID being tested in Africa. My second point. We are used to being tested, but we're used to being tested in the D-Lo. We know things happen throughout our generations, our mothers, our fathers, Mobutu time, we know things happen. So it's like we're busy dancing, enjoying ourselves, but things are happening on a D-Lo. But for you to now bring it in my face, the current generation are not having it. That's the issue. So if you were to go to Africa and test people and not say it, then we wouldn't know. But the fact that they pointed it out live on the news that we are going to Africa to test, I'm not Yongulu. That is the wrong way to go about it. Whether we like it or not, everything that we do medically, we need to test it. Whether it's in animals or humans, we need to test it to know if it's working or not. But that is not the way to go about it. And that is why everybody stood against it.
Yourself?
Yeah. I would like to quote Will Smith on this before I give my insights on this. He once said, it will still be in relation to this, but by ways he said, racism hasn't gone worse. It's just been televised. For your question, you said we have already these experiences of plagues, of sicknesses plaguing Africa. But why is now a shock? Because now it's been televised. Now it's been televised. Now we get to see what example the police were doing back then, in a secret. But now it's been televised, and that is the shock that we're having. That they have now gained the audacity to announce it. We're gonna go do vaccine in Africa, and it's been televised in front of us, and that's the shock. As you asked the question and say, why are we shocked? Because it's been televised. It's right in front of our face before. Before it was in secret. Before they'll go do it, we don't know about that. They'll even use charity like Red Cross to able to carry on their secret work, their dirty work. But now, no, it's not anymore. That's the shock it's coming from. Being televised. We've been informed right in our faces. This is gonna happen, and you can do nothing about it.
Because if you ask yourself the question, we were one of the first countries alongside Sudan to have Ebola before Nigeria and all those had it recently in the past couple of years that we've all heard. How did Congo get rid of it? What did we do? Why did we have it? It was used as a war weapon against our people. And Mobutu knew that in order to stop that process, he had to negotiate with the people who provided it for us. And it's an exchange of good that he had to do in order to get the vaccine or in order to get the medication to help his people in his land. And that exchange of good is not always going to be, because we're hoping that at some point in our lives, Africa will not always be supplying. And if we are supplying to others, let it be a real fair trade, not the fake fair trade that they label in front of us that we are trading fairly. He had to trade something in order to receive something back to help his people. We have been, and we still are, that land, that place of source of minerals. Africa doesn't need the world as much as the world needs Africa. Okay? We supply everything. Most black people have invested and created almost everything, from traffic lights to remote controls to everything that you need, from bananas to coffee. We make those things. Have you ever thought why they don't just say, you up and leave and go back to your land? If you said that to me, I'm packing my bags, I'm going back, I know where I'm from. I have a whole village that belongs to me. But they're not ready to say that. Pamphil made a good point saying that racism has never really died. It's just changing an angle of which it's going. 1 minute it's loud, 1 minute it's silent, 1 minute it's on a delay, 1 minute it's on a high level. So it's like they say, Black Lives Matters until it becomes an African issue.
Sure. So I like what you both said about, what I took from you was that then there's now a level of confidence, or the audacity, to use your words, to just sort of say it as if it's just, like brushing your teeth. And what you said about hygiene, but so within those contexts, I want to ask the question of, if it's just a very simple thing like hygiene, that could solve many of our disease issues, then why, as Africans, have we or why haven't we started asking or demanding from our leaders or our so-called intellectuals to put to certain measures in place where we're not the lab, but we're the innovators of said diseases?
Because they're playing politics with people's lives.
Yeah, that's a good point. Question a minute is that why that hasn't been done. Okay, first we need to understand when hopefully I won't upset my viewers, but you'll like what I'm gonna say to you. The fact that you have a degree in medicine, or you are a doctor now because you've been qualified by the European system. That's what qualified people in our generation, is their system that qualified people. Because I don't know of any African system that qualified doctors and give them a degree. Once you are qualified as a doctor of the Westerners, or the white people, if I may say, you become their agent, you become their salesman of their medicine. They can use you to sell paracetamol. They can use you to sell all that comes in the pack that is shipped from Europe to Africa. And you became the agent to sell that, to sort of marketing their brand of medicine. Now, check this out. If we go back to African medicine now, they will lose money. If we start, okay, our hygiene, like I mentioned, okay, let's start taking care in the way our ancestors did back then, they will lose money. They will collapse. And now, them collapsing is them losing relationship with our government. And our government, I don't know why, being so naive or greedy, they don't want a relationship to go. And us are the people, we suffer. There's a Congolese proverb that says, when the elephant fights, it's the grass that suffer. When the elephant fights, the grass suffer.
Because it's stomping on it, constantly squashing it. So obviously it's going to suffer some consequences from the actions that the elephant's doing.
Just to throw a random question, because you're both saying our leaders, but I want to ask, why are we allowing these leaders? Because we've had long history. I think Congo's now, 60 years old of so-called independence.
Gifted independence.
So-called independence. I don't know how much that is actually independent. That's
the whole
personal view.
payroll.
However, in this independence, we have leaders that are, as we've just seen in the last 12 months, an elected leader. Why are we not demanding, point for point? We've all saw the last election. I don't recall at any point where anyone was interested in what his manifesto was about in terms of points of healthcare, education, infrastructure, and all that. I remember it was all about tribes and who they like and who they don't like. So why is it that Africans, not just Congolese, just constantly, because you have to look at even the legacy of each president. They stay there for a very long time. So if we look at the previous president, no matter what we feel about him, he was there for 18 years, yet we still don't have a health system. So the question is, at what point do we, the individual African, start thinking it's about results rather than about emotions? Give me the result, how we fix our medical care, because I've lived now on my 3rd generation into my 4th, the same old, we get aid from this place, Red Cross like you mentioned, we get aid from that place, but yet we still don't have more than 1 hospital per city, for example, on average. So what's stopping the masses from doing that?
Okay, the masses you mentioned, right? My goodness, I hate to say this. Let me build up from this point, and I'll get to answer your questions. Across Africa, democracy never worked. Even here in Europe, it doesn't work. People always complaining. The aim, it was to destabilize or destroy our monarchy, our kingship that we always had back then, and bring what they call democracy. I call it democracy in our land. And since then we lost power as a people, because in a kingship system we select our leader. Now we select. Now we're electing them. We lost power as a people. Now you say, as an individual African, what we do something about it? As one, there's 2 is better than 1. I become powerless if I'm trying to do it on my own. But as a collective, we can really raise something. However, it's not the difficult of becoming as collective to unite, and it's our struggle. One of the biggest weaknesses as Africans is that, because we can see we all need a hospital, a new one. We don't need to depend on them, but coming together, it means pulling different resources.
I think I need to take a sip. Thanks for that.
Honestly, it's a struggle. Is that for us to become a collective? I may say, this is my day and this is the money. Who's with me?
This is it.
And what you're saying is, you could have the idea, you can even have the amount that you need to make that idea happen, but it's everybody else realizing that idea is necessary.
That's the thing. That's the struggle. And you just don't say that we're not just at war with the European, we're even at war with our own leaders.
We're at war with each other. I'm at war with you. You're at war with him. Indirectly speaking. Okay. What you said about what Africa's never been a democracy, unity among us was destroyed. Okay. I come into your land, I find something starting from the English, the French, the Belgian, the Portuguese. Okay. And what I find is interesting to me, intriguing to me. The relationship which I had with you as African was a good relationship. That relationship meant you were coming to the Western society, you were giving you goods, you were giving me goods, you were being educated, we were exchanging. Because you need to ask yourself, how did the color brown, I call myself brown girl, yeah? Or black as everyone else would call it. How did it travel across other places? You go to India, we are there. You go to other places across the world, we are there. We travel the most, okay? Of all different races, we travel the most. When they come to us, they found what he said, royalty. In order to destroy it, I had to do something. right? And destroying it, I couldn't do it by myself. I needed to do it with your leader. So I needed to give your leader something in exchange. And being gullible at the time, your leader did not know what he was exchanging for.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery. I didn't start it for you. You already had it. You already had it.
Mm.
It was already happening. I'll give you an example. It's not a lot of generations down. My great-grandfather, who is the father of my grandmother, who birthed my father, was a king. Okay? When he died, buried with 12 slaves. Why must you? Why can't you go alone? They already had a system as Africans, people working for each other. I owe you money. I owe Pamphil money. I can't pay, so you take my child to come to work for you. But that was like a clean way of doing it. My child was not being tortured. My child is just working to pay off my debts. So me as a Western person, I come and I see what you're doing. I turn it around. I turn it into my good. I start to trade your people. You've given me the power and the will to do so. Unity among Africans is gone. We never had borders. I could cross Nigeria, Bantus. We all used to come down. That's where the title come from. That's why they call us Bantus. But where is that gone? Nigerians are more united than Congolese people. So I'm beefing you more than I'm beefing anyone else. I have trouble with you than I have anyone else. So by the time Pamphil takes money, puts on the table and says, Charlhene, Marlene, let's go to the DRC and build a hospital, it's going to be, it's not going to process. What are our other leaders doing in our country? Not just the political leaders, the influencers who have money, the musicians who have money. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing something good. But why are they not all coming together to build something big? Because they're all beefing each other. The unity is not there. Once Africans, in general Africans, will be united, or even Congo is able to rebuild its forces the way it used to be called as the Kingdom of Congo among all those other countries where we are no longer together with. Brazza insults us, Angola insults us, 1 minute we're together, 1 minute we're not together. If we can build our forces, Brazzaville to Kinshasa is like this to there. All you need to do is build a bridge. I could swim across if I had the talent. Okay? All you need to do is build a bridge and walk across by 5 minutes, or drive by 20 minutes, 15 minutes, or something like that. But we're not together. Isn't it il nakati ya mboka na yo? Me unity is that thing. When we fix ourselves, this is the trouble. They tortured us, ruin our mentality, ruin our way of thinking. And the best way to also do it was the trauma.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. So just going back a bit, because you made some serious points. I'm going to come back to those, because some of the points you guys made is on a different subject. So I want to ask, what are the capabilities now that we have in Africa, or Congo if you want, that and do you think that we're capable of deploying the type of medical needs? I know in blanket we definitely not, because like you said, leadership, but I'm talking more about, we have enough educated people, whether or not they're educated through one system, which is the European system. We have enough educated people, we have enough talented people, like you said as well. But what are the capabilities? Are they capable, if they do come together, of deploying the kind of strategic help and create the right things that need to? Are they capable?
They are more than capable, but the issue is, will they allow them to do it? This is where the politics gets played.
Our capability. There's only one thing that is standing our way of being capable, because we can say verbally, by theory we're capable. Is medicine is not distributed, it's sold.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle. Because simple as is, all of us are aware of our own African medicine, which works perfectly, by the way.
Which is where they got it from, because some of them, they use it to produce and make tablets out of it in order to supply and sell to other people. You go to your bilanga, you get some matiti in the back of your house, you boil it, you drink it, you're good to go.
So medicine is there.
So what you're essentially both saying is that medicine in today's world is to treat, whereas our medication in the old world was to cure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like I said, it's not distributed anymore, it's sold. That would be the struggle now. Without the struggle. But there is capability. We are more than capable of that. But money must be made.
Because the reason why I asked that question is because I want anyone who's watching this to understand there is complexities, but within those complexities, there is capabilities.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
definitely is a
So
capability.
that's why I was asking: are we capable of
More than-
mobilizing? And
We are.
you know, should we get ourselves together, capable of mobilizing individuals? Right,
are.
you know medicine, you on there. You know logistics, you on there. You know this, you on
Yes,
there.
absolutely.
It's just
all,
what
all
stops
Africa.
us is that everyone wants to be chiefs and no one wants to be an Indian.
That is one
Basically.
point, and obviously the fact that politicians are playing politics in people's lives. Your leaders are not like, what part of a DRC are you from? Because you might want to go back to your village or your land. You're not going to be considered. They would just look at him or look at me and be like, this Western children. We should be welcomed back into our land the same way as someone who lives there or who doesn't live there. If anything, we should go back and invest in our land.
But that's
Many
interesting
people,
because a white person going back to
they
the
get
land,
welcome
they get
heaven
the
just
king
landed
as a
on
white-
earth.
yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
And that's because that's the view that we used to have of them when we first met them. Something different, something niche. We've never seen this before. Who are you? Although we had something closer to that and even better to that because we can birth them. Bandundus. We can birth them. But we don't value our power. We don't realize the power that we as black people carry. And black women do not realize the power which we birth into the nation. Okay? You said medication is there. Yes, medication is there. Is it there to heal me or to cure me? It's there for you to drink, get better today, and come back to me and ask me for another one because I want to make money.
Treatment. But
That's
just
what it
what you
is.
just said, we have the power to birth. So I want to go back a little bit back. We have the power to birth them. So how come we keep birthing these individuals who are easily led astray? We've been birthing them. So I'm asking, how
Maybe we
come
need to
we
stop
are
giving
still
birth.
birthing? Because Chisake is what, 57, 58 years old. Okay? The independence is 60 years old, right? So we've birthed Chisake.
He's been there.
Kabila
throughout the
is
whole
what,
thing.
45, 48, something like that. I don't know how
Yeah, he's
old, but
50, early
he's in his
50s,
early 50s.
yeah.
Okay, so we birthed him. We birthed everybody else who happens to have traumatized Africa at some point, at least. So how we keep birthing? It's like the conveyor belt that just keeps giving bad, products.
Well, okay, birthing is
If Kabila's
more or less-
mum knew what she was giving birth to, she would close her legs.
Wait, hold on.
If you know, like as a woman, yeah, if you know that what you're bringing into the world is going to destroy the world, it's going to be some kind of demon, or it's going to be Satan, or it's going to play some kind of demonic position into the world, you will close your damn legs.
No,
How much
it's
of
not
that is
you
your
birth-
fault? How much of that? Just to
It-
play
that's
devil's
100%
advocate,
of my
how much
view.
of that is your fault as a
woman.
mother, as a woman?
50 because I lay down with someone else. So
you
Wait.
yeah, because it's
I have
50-50.
to-
It
let
doesn't
me-
just take me to do this whole
take,
thing.
I take the question because I'm gonna play loads of women.
But
What?
for the
She's
whole
against
9
girls.
months of labouring or 10
Just what
months,
you
whatever
just
it is.
said. Just what you just said. 50-50. I reckon it's 80-20.
Because I have a longer process in birthing the child and nurturing the child.
You
Yes,
nurture
I
the
do. I
child for
nurture the
longer
child.
when they're a child.
But I do not nurture evil into the child. When I bring my child into the world and they go into society and they learn things, they go to school, they go to work, they go to all sorts, and they're taking different things.
But that could be said about every other culture, though.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
wait.
but every single person
Ladies,
also has their mindset of what they
ladies.
take in.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish this. Every person also has a mindset of what they take in. When I was in university, politics is the thing that I wanted to do alongside tourism and drama and stuff like that. So I didn't know how to go about mixing these 3 subjects as politic, artistic, and business. So in uni, you can pick different modules and just get extra points. Girlfriend, I picked 2 politic modules. In the process of the first semester, I jumped it. I felt like I was being lied to. I was being told to believe into something that I knew was not in existence. But they kept telling me you're good because you are good at the way which you speak, the way which you present yourself, and that is something that's also needed in such an industry. But I walked out of that, and that was the time where we're going through the whole election of Obama in the US and stuff, and everybody trying to claim me being a bit of them. And I thought, you're giving me fake information. From then I knew in order for me to live or to know or to survive in anything that has to do with politics, I had to be the biggest liar there's ever been.
Let me just get
I just wanted to, on take on, you both brought up this thing of birthing, this particular creature who come to destroy the earth. It sounds a bit mystic, but anyway.
Not a creature, a human being. We birthed you.
Yeah, human being is a creature, you know? No problem. So my point on that, I'm trying to say on that, I understand. Okay, it's understandable. Okay, you guys breed for, but however, it's not birthing it. Is the education of that child is what will make him to that product he become. And I quote this. They always say it's like you in men and women. I'll say you're expecting you got a tree. Let's say you're an apple tree connected to a mango tree. What fruit, mango root, what fruit would I bear? Because
Métis,
but that's the thing I'm saying now. The root, we are given, we growing up African, you're given a European root. But you're a mango tree, mango only grow in Africa, by the way. You're a mango tree given an apple's root.
If in India,
No, well, no problem. But you used to be part of Africa. But anyway, that's a long story. How can they expect me to behave properly? I will behave confused because my route that is given to me is already wrong.
True.
They're giving me so to put about the curriculum of white people.
That's fair. But let me.
Can I just tap into what you just said there?
Tap in.
There is a saying that our parents always used to say when we were in Africa. Okay, mwana na otindo na poto po oza mayele ya mndele ozo ngana ngona mboka.
Now take kukuna.
Yeah. So they were expecting us to understand what they were doing, to break it down and bring it back.
Expectation was one thing, but the actions was another thing.
Yeah.
But let me go back. Let's take a moment away from Africa for a minute. Come back here in the diaspora just for a second.
Yeah.
So, within the actions that were taken, the first question is, how do you think, or how has COVID affected our community? Our African community right here.
First of all, of course, my condolences.
So I don't know how it affected them.
My condolences to those who lost their parents, family members, siblings. On that, it has affected us badly. Apparently, we had the highest number of deaths as African here in diaspora.
Men mainly.
Yeah, men mainly. I hope. Yeah, that's a big part. Men mainly. I heard as well. So it affects us losing numbers because there's power in numbers.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And secondly, I want to assume, based on what I have heard and seen, some has affected them mentally. Mentally, mental health, I believe it increased during this time of quarantining. What I was seeing on social media, I'm thinking this is not appropriate for someone to be doing this because of what will happen. Definitely, it have sort of decreased our intellect for some reason. That's the first thing.
Stupidity sells nowadays.
For those aspects, absolutely, it has affected us. And I will also say, bring at one point is, it has exposed our weaknesses. That's me personally said. It has exposed African people's weaknesses. In the community, in the diaspora. Absolutely.
I feel it has exposed our strength, actually.
Okay.
And the reason why I feel that is because there's been groups created among that time, and I am part of one of those groups, which is called UCC. We have been going around, we were, at the time, in the peak of COVID, going around to people's homes, the elderlies, those who we know that need more help. We'll be doing shoppings, and we used to put money aside ourselves, and we had people from outside our group who also donate to support the cause. We would do weekly shoppings, and then we would drive around every weekend. We'll select a number of people, and what we also did at the time was that we selected nurses who we knew were working during that time to just honour them. Box of chocolates, box of flowers, just to say thank you. There were a lot of Congolese nurses and doctors that we may not know, and those that we do know, who were having to deal with this every day, going to work. There are a lot of Congolese teachers who have to deal with it every day, going to work as key workers, or just any other department of key workers, whether it's transportation. And I feel that as a community, it may not have been everyone, but we came together in order to support each other. When someone lost someone, I think the Congolese community reached out.
I don't know. I think first of all, I saw a lot of at least maybe for me, probably for the first time in a long time, or maybe the first time ever in this country where I've seen Congolese people actually stand up, especially for what you said about the elderly, because I've seen elderly homes for all cultures, but I've yet to see an elderly home that is dedicated to just Congolese or just black people, period. There's an elderly home in Streatham that's just dedicated to Indians and Pakistanis. That's their home.
Even clubs.
Even clubs.
We
So
went to one
even social clubs. I'm not trying to do sort of comparisons. I'm simply saying, but these are the things that are important to them because they're thinking these individuals served us well. So it's only right that in their time of need that we serve them too.
And this is it.
And that repeating that cycle. And that was the first time I saw us doing the same thing.
Yeah. And it needed to be
so
done.
I agree with both of you that there was elements of weaknesses because if we bring it back to a business perspective, the weakness is that most of our business is closed because our businesses never had a structure in the first place. But in terms of a community and an emotional support, yes, there wasn't enough, but there was. There was genuine support. There was genuine shopping, etc. There was genuine giving. There was genuine care for our elderly, our vulnerable, and those on the front line. Treating people. We could have done more, always. There's always room for improvement. But the fact that we started means that as we progress, and now we're probably going to we have entered into the second wave.
And it will continue again. There was a woman that we met one day. Her husband had died as well, about a year or two ago, and no one has really visited her since the death of her husband. And when she saw a lot of young people, when I mean young, I mean like 20s, 30s, and 40s, she's like above all those ages. So she literally just started blessing all of us.
Yeah.
Stating that bino ba jeune boyoka ate. Olanda ka ba vie libanda boy. Mais komona ke ba jeune bazo ya sikoyo ko s'occuper na biso, ba mama na ba papa na bino. She was really touched by that.
So let me ask this question.
Before you ask a question, sorry, let me just say this now. I'm not trying to take away credit from you guys' work that you guys have been
It's
doing.
not just us, it's other people. It was happening in South, East,
Other cultures,
and Manchester,
Caribbean,
it was happening.
everyone was doing
As I was saying, I'm not trying to take away credit from you guys' work. I'm saying because you mentioned us, so I'm talking about you guys. Is the thing, I might be very radical on this one, is a thing where in African, I think it's a culture. I don't think it's culture. Is people come together and put money together on my funeral. It's only funeral. Not when I'm alive. Not when I'm in need of something. When I'm born, it's never lending to me. It's only when I'm dead. When I'm in a casket. Somehow everyone comes together. It's like death bring us together. Not life. And I don't want to elaborate on this point. I just want to say that.
Oh no!
I agree with you
Go
because
ahead.
that's like literally. If you want to carry on, because I agree with what you're saying.
We totally agree with that.
Totally agree with that. But COVID itself awakened some people to realize like we need to do something. The importance of while someone's alive.
Because I also saw within what you just said. I also saw more and more people talk about insurance.
Yeah.
I also saw more and more people thinking about. Do you know what? I want to be in a position where I don't have enough in my account for this thing to take care of myself and my family. So if I'm the natural breadwinner, for example, this is men and women, I'm the natural breadwinner. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm struggling like this. So it raised a few eyebrows and woke up a few people. Maybe not all.
There was a lot of personal interests.
Yeah, maybe not all, but a lot of us woke up.
Just saying. Everybody
compared to a
had
previous,
to get something. And
compared to
I understand.
like what we said earlier, compared to malaria or Ebola,
So,
there's a little. COVID actually gave a little bit more of a
I understand the shake.
if you get what I mean.
Because it's also a different generation. But carry on.
And our generation is a little bit more. Walk.
A little bit.
Because you have to look at it like this, a Western person always tried to make something or money out of every
bad situation.
Yeah. So you have
but
COVID,
hold that thought for
I
a
need
minute.
to make money from it.
Hold on thought for a minute. Right. So according to Forbes, nearly half of small black businesses in the US are wiped out. That's 22% gone. And here, just 5.4% of UK small businesses are run by black people. Just 5%. 5.4. So when we look at those numbers, we're already a small dent.
Collective, yeah.
But yet we've fallen. If you would compare, there's no information on UK yet because they try to BAME it. Yeah, you know what I mean by BAME.
I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
they try BAMing everything, so you can't really pinpoint what's black and Asian. I don't want to know all of that bit. I just want to know what black is, but they don't. Yeah, anyway, it's a whole other subject.
Yeah.
But according to that information, my question is: are blacks the least prepared for an emergency business-wise?
That came to me. That comes to the
And
point where
why?
I said that expose our weaknesses. It did expose that we don't think about the future. That's where the insurance came in. That's where I was saying, but I understand the insurance are business people. They thought, that's
no interest.
because you know why? Because that like the Jewish people always say about blacks is that you guys are easy target for a market. Because when it comes to your hand, money comes to your hand, it goes quickly. It come back to exactly
water money. I think
it come
that
back
was
to
the quote that
expose how we don't think ahead, expose how the lack of organization that is within us, expose the lack of unity. Then I'm sure for Jewish people they were thinking, they seeing us, for example, coming together. Yeah, we're coming together. Oh, we did that already, guys. We do it without COVID. We do it without. We do it without. We do it.
In fact, from just to interject, what you're saying, out of all these communities, the numbers that were, how can I put it, maybe positive, because it's really hard to find positive in such a situation. But the numbers that were positive were those of the Jewish community, the Asian community, because like you said, they have their liboki.
They already have something that they do already.
In place.
You know what you said, liboki? Sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
The Muslim community, because I have quite a lot of Somalian friends that I grew up with. They function like this. They have likelimbas all the time. And that likelimba works within their community or their tribes and stuff like that. So one person will never lack. You could raise 5 grand or 10 grand within a week by the time that they all start putting the money in.
Yeah.
But in our community, which brings us back to what Pamphil was saying, it's hard to do that. Only when you are dead, then they will be able to raise that money.
It's
so
almost
they don't
like
have
we're
that
saying
system already going.
Life is not as valuable as death.
For some,
Exactly.
Which is what we off air we were talking about, where I said that we focus very much on survival rather than living. You know.
Absolutely.
So let me ask this next question: do blacks need to legitimize promptly run businesses to ensure they qualify for all available funds? Because as well as, let me give you a context in that. So Boris and all of these people and banks and whatever have given a leeway. Interest rates has gone down, all kinds of stuff available, different schemes, furlough, all these kind of things. My question is, did we even have legitimized business that will qualify for those things in the first place? And how many of us are actually, how can I put this? How many of us are even bold enough to go and apply for it? Because what I've noticed is in my time as a retail manager is that we are almost afraid of taking what is owed to us. So these furlough schemes and these self-employed allowances, if you will, that are available now, is available for everyone. Fill in the form, you get the funds. It's your right. But somehow we have this mindset, and that's why I'm asking the question, that, but that's not for me though, innit? Sony is what I'm getting at, because English is too long.
Sony.
Yeah,
do you know what it is? Half of it is language barriers. Okay? That's one. 2 is they don't even know it's out there because they're not researching. They're not trying to find out what's being said. Most of them are just focusing on okay? And the ones who do know that is there, for example, Pamphil knows that is there. He will come to me as a community and tell me that it's there. And the fact that he knows how to get it, how to process it. Why is that? Because they don't know how to do it and they have lack of knowledge.
I absolutely understand.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to say. I keep hearing it. I keep banging this point to all those that listen to me. The older generation have to take a back seat.
They need to take a back seat.
They take a back seat. Yes, for those who see this video, yes, we have responsible young men, according to you guys, do exist in the community. Now, allow me to hold platforms, social media platforms, accountable.
Oh, Papa Zilla, cheese. Better than appareil, ma.
Because there are, I won't name names, but there are quite a few who say they post news about the community. For things like that, they can be so useful. Okay, Baba, Mama, by the way, Boris Johnson has put a scheme. Salaboy, boy, you pull it out there. All over young people are there. They will take the information home.
You can have a page where you post that, but they won't pay attention.
I proposed to someone.
They want to know what's going on in the boîte.
No, they won't pay attention. But understand this, okay? Understand this. How can we tackle this? That's what we need. Again, leaders. Leaders are not the one who have muscles. No, leaders are brain muscles. For example, I'm aware as an individual leader, I'm aware that, okay, my people has been rejected so many times in many occasions, especially when it comes to corporation. They've been rejecting loans. No forms. They be rejecting to colleges, university. Now it's being in their head, unconsciously or indirectly, it's been said that. So that fear already from the parents all the way down of going to apply. It is true. They're somehow there's something holding them back to go do it. But this is the issue. This is the issue. Now, as a leader, when I want to introduce this thing to them, I have to consider that point. How would I neutralize that rejection already to elevate them, to induce means to bring out that quality for them to come apply?
You know how they have something like I don't even know if we've ever had this or if we should have it, like a job center kind of system for the Congolese community, like a Congolese center where you and I or you know something they can come to you to ask. We don't have it. It's non-existent.
And what you just said is the thing I'm taking from it is we have the so-called community centers or the community,
but we don't have one for our culture.
We have a Congolese community something. I'm not going to mention the full name.
Yeah, we have something, but what is it doing?
But that goes back to my earlier questions as to how we just allow certain things to happen without asking for what purpose and what outcome it delivers.
Okay. And also, sorry to interrupt, it's like what you said, the Congolese something, I don't know if Pamphil would agree with this, it's like selective people that they've already agreed who's going to take part, who's this leader, and it all happens mainly in North London. So what about those who don't live in those areas?
And that's what I mean. So for example, I did an event in Manchester like a couple of years ago, and there's the disconnect even there. So Manchester and London have a disconnect. Like Manchester people don't want to come to a London event, even if it is in Manchester. And that to me is like we're just Congolese. I'm just doing this. I'm doing something for Congolese. In order for us, it was actually a genuine sort of creating a Liboke Liboke sort of thing, so that we can get together and put money in crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is literally Liboke. Only white men realize how to monetize it and give it a posh name. Liboke, you know. Likilimba, sorry.
I'm thinking, what are you cooking? Liboke and Bisio?
Well, Liboke is gathering.
Yeah, Likilimba.
But Likilimba is crowdfunding. So Likilimba, very easily, I was like, let's get more people involved, especially to help. I've grown up, and I'm sure everyone in this room has. I've grown up with Mamoya na sakosh na valise. Mamoya na valise. I will take something.
Yeah.
Mama na yaka every day. But mama na za nani? Mama na za Avon. Mama na za Avon.
Mary Kay.
Mama na za Avon. Avon's business, Avon's entire business module is based on that same mama. She comes with a suitcase. But whatever it is that she's selling, her merchandise, she comes with it. But somehow we don't support that mama. But we will easily go and spend that £1 whatever in somebody else's place. But that mama, if you supported her, she could support her kids, put them in uni, and then we don't need to get student loans.
I'll tell you a reason why some people don't support that mama. I will buy this from Pamphil. Na kotia na kata valise nanga. Alinga na komi koteka bantu. Etanke bantu eza yangate. Do you get it?
Really? That happens?
Yeah. People do that.
Wow.
My mama and people sell Congo. You go to different countries, you buy goods. I buy a brand that belongs to you. Money chapeau oil. Bosomba.
Merchandise.
So, Yango, yeah? Somba. So I buy it. Once I bought it, I've got my receipt. It's now my item, right? I can do what I want to do with it, right? But now I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my suitcase, and I'm now going to sell it under my name. But you can see that it's not my
Yeah.
name, right? So I'm taking credit from the person who created it. I'm making money that belongs to Pamphil. So sometimes when that happens and I see that it's Pamphil's name, I'm thinking, oh, I can go buy that from Pamphil for like 15 quid, 8 quid, 10 quid, and you want to sell me for saying
But my counter to that is the same thing happens with Louis Vuitton, Versace, and whatever. You're buying a backpack, right? The backpack that says Louis Vuitton or the backpack that says whatever. Yeah, you're buying it, and it costs you how much?
900,
In the
600,
thousands,
a grand,
right?
thousands, yeah.
Right. But yet, the Kenyan lady who's made it from her origin, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
From her origin, you don't want to buy it from her. She sells it for 60 quid. You saying, oh, it's too expensive. But you were easily going to spend 6
don't
grand.
know that's the origin. Most people do not know that.
But let me. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. I want to bring these questions in, but just before we we come to an end. Right. So according to the UN, so not the UN, the ONS, 4% of blacks have been killed in the UK on COVID.
Okay.
Right. So just to give you a picture, there's only 1.9 million blacks in the UK. That's 33% of the population. And 1 million of that actually identify with being black African.
So when you say 4% out of the 17% that the Daily Mail has pointed
Well, the new
deficits.
numbers have probably just come out now. This is the numbers of 2018.
Because COVID was
COVID
rated
numbers,
17% in general
right.
of all death. So
we've
accident
increased.
at home is even higher than...
We've increased.
Yeah,
So all the information that came out yesterday, this is before yesterday, because a lot of information came out from Boris's speech.
Boris's chamber.
Yeah. Would you say the community should have handled COVID better knowing these numbers? Knowing that we are the majority, but the minority in the world, because that's very important. We're the majority in the world, the minority in England. Let me rephrase that. Right? Knowing this, shouldn't we be thinking like the so anything that could take us, like even in this room, we know a pandemic hits, it's going to kill us quicker because there's very little of us.
Yeah, but see,
so how do we?
So I understand
it's a question.
I know, but it's painful even to ask that question. I know it must be asked, even though it makes us uncomfortable. It makes me personally uncomfortable because as you speak, I can really picture that we don't have a community. A community have leaders, people responsible in place who will judge those numbers and plan for the future ahead.
But there's states that we have a leader, there's states that they have those things put in place, but we don't see it, do we?
Let me just point this out. For instance, like for example, when they elect these leaders which I don't know,
I was not there.
Why we're not making aware of?
Yeah, it should be announced the same way they're able to announce by concert.
But communication is a big problem.
It should be
we
announced.
can announce this
should be announced,
especially young people. We have already platforms in places, media platform in places, but when you start announcing this thing, by the way, I give respect to Global is currently what's the word? Displaying what's happening in Congo constantly every week, which is we need.
But they're also more of an entertainment platform, though.
But there you go. But
everything changes back to entertainment, not because they want it to change into entertainment.
But it's the only way to grab attention.
I'm not referring this to Congo to Global. I'm referring this to every other of Congolese diaspora network and social media that has been there. It started off with I'm displaying information, but when the information is being displayed, nothing's happening. People are not paying attention, so they kind of switch to the entertainment side. It's the way to get their followers. It's the way to interact with people, and a way for them to make money because stupidity now sells. You open a page and it's only there to inform. Pamphil, you probably have a good solid of 200 followers that want to know. The rest of them are waiting for you to do a video of how you fell down the stairs and done something silly.
I understand that part, Marlene. Okay. There's a lot of cons with us. I get it, but I'm trying to break that barrier. Okay, to really present that insight that it can. If we have this in place. The question comes, you said, our community couldn't handle this better. Okay, who will handle this properly? Who? Because you need to have people. Boris Johnson is a leader of the whole, let's say, the UK, etc. We have also London mayors who do their part. Okay,
there's a
system put in place.
There's a system in place on that. Now, to answer that question is hard. Because are you talking about individually?
Well, the answer is very much that. That is the answer. The answer is we need to have a system in place. where we have, like you say, you have a prime minister and you have mayors, and underneath them there's councillors, etc., etc. But that would relate those one system into towns, cities, villages, etc.
Yeah.
The filtration system,
And
that's what
that
we're lacking.
exists in other communities.
Oh, very much.
It exists in other communities.
So my other question though, just I want to. This
So
is
I
probably
couldn't answer that question, by the way.
no, you did answer it. You did answer it.
Yeah.
That is the answer. The answer is not necessarily one.
Yeah.
Plus one.
Yeah, that's
That is the answer.
Collection, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Collective.
Yeah. So my question is, if we're being serious, can we just be serious for 1 minute and just to admit, do we even care about medicine that we, as we did back in the Imhotep days, who created medicine in the old days? Do we even care? Like, and when I say this, I mean, aside from COVID, we've had a lot of heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, gout, whatever. There's been so many people. Kufa ka bongo. Lela mkibo ya kufi. Hey, balobeza ki AVC. Oh, balobeza ki boy. Oh, balobeza ki stoma. Stoma is like the biggest diagnosis in our community.
Stress.
Right.
That is.
It is stress. But babe no vanyo suka stoma. Azaki boy. I think we've had just in recent years. We've had a few members of the theatre industry. We've had
they were dying like flies.
They're dying like flies. All of these things come down to all this or that. So my question is, are we even taking it seriously? Because when we look at our diet, the way we used to look at our diet, it's definitely not the same. And then the other thing we have in our diet, to add to this question,
you're gonna say palm oil.
No, it's not that. I was gonna say, I think you said it. You're not even in shot, but I mean, you said it. No, we have this white is right thing, right? So when you're pregnant, you just want to eat Chinese. I think it was.
I said, yeah.
Hey, you want to eat Chinese food.
Wait.
The majority of people when they find themselves in Poto, right?
Okay.
Or when they find themselves with money. I saw this one theatre. I'll give you this example instead. Then the theatre, the cooking one, where the stars cook. It's more of a show of the stars of the theatre.
Yes.
And they would cook for you. But then I saw my mum was watching it and she put it on. This woman is cooking using Tesco beans, right? Using Tesco chicken, imported Tesco chicken, and she's telling us how and the mayonnaise, in Congo. So I was livid, and I'm telling you why I'm livid, because we have not only the most fertile lands, you can get the peas growing right on your garden. Nice and fresh and healthier, but she's promoting canned food to a masses, and she's a celebrity. So imagine how people are looking at that. And there's this ideology that we have in our head that any medication from the West is best. Any food from the West is best. So really and truly, do we even care? Because if we cared, we wouldn't be eating that Tesco chicken.
I'm gonna say this because I believe there's no one's gonna say this. So it's marvelous when you just say it, and I don't care who will feel what about this, and I'm gonna say it correctly. There is nganga ya kisi na nganga ya nzambe.
Oh yes.
So nganga nzambe stay nganga nzambe. Nganga kisi stay nganga kisi. So but pastor stay in your place. You are the reason why people are not believing in diet anymore.
I need a drink.
I need a trick. They are I don't care. You are. If you're watching me now, yes, your pastor is the reason why African people are not in tune with their diet anymore. They don't care about They don't care about the medicine because why? Jesus will heal you. He will do things for absolutely no. Jesus can't do that at all time. I don't care.
What you're saying is 100% because I remember my mom saying to me.
No, come here. Let him land.
Go ahead. There's the lady de theatre. What's her name? There was a lady that died.
There's so many.
Just last year, I think it was. And she was with Lipati.
Oh yes, I know.
You know who I'm talking about. Anyway,
I used to
the story allegedly was that she was rushed to the pastor before she was rushed to the hospital, and I just went, when the life is sucked out.
No, I'm thinking of the name now, but I know exactly. I know what you mean.
But you see, that point I'm bringing out is very frustrating because why? One, you start getting more credit than the other. But what is the necessity? What's the need of a body, of gum body, of a black body? It's not prayer. It's not that. When that body is vulnerable, first ask what is making that body vulnerable to be sick? It's the diet. Now, who the person who will know who holds that diet secret is Nangayakisi. Now, I'm not saying what they show you in my bouquet. Papa, he puts the things on the
Nganga
faces.
kisi obviously because Satan Zambi pasa pinganga, but being a kinganga nangai.
No,
Do you get what I mean?
no, okay.
Now I'm just giving you an example because you're saying like which different gangas there is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to go to hospital to be treated. The mistake that people make is that they go to church, they follow prayer, and you don't go for treatment, or you're not even having any treatment follow up to go find out what's wrong with you in the first place.
I'm trying to disinfect the effect that bacteria that I've had in my people in his head about Nangakisi. It means he does some voodoo on you and juju on you. No, absolutely. By the way, my grandma is one Nangakisi. How she knows how to mix herbs, different plants to create that. My grandma helps women to give birth over botakate.
Yeah, because when is that oba benga kabukisi abukoko?
That's what I'm saying, brother. That's our kissy. We're struggling here with the Western medicine, keep making us sick. People ask us, so where's our medicine? It's bokoko. But when I come to hey bokoko is what? Oh. Something to fear.
Ginger mixage to sala kawan is a bukoko.
That's you,
so many different things.
That's you.
The
Majority in our community think that's not it.
It's the confusion because of the title. They're assuming that that's what it is, although it lies in different concepts. You have one word. Look at English. English is a language where I can use the same word in the past and in the present, change my sentence, but I mean something different. That's literally what it is. So when they hear it, they're thinking,
you say that's literally
what
it is.
they're thinking.
But I know they're
They're
thinking that because they also, for example, every individual, let's say everything has a source of energy. For example, iPhone need a charger, by the way, which is so important in these days. Have a charger with you all the time. iPhone need that. Next time I'm saying to you, a lion needs to eat meat to keep going, right? It is always everybody has the box or the source of information. Unfortunately, in our community, churches are becoming the source of information for everything, which is not true. Absolutely not true. Now I'm saying to you, pasteur, stay pasteur. Now when you start telling me sir, elevate bangangakisi na biso, because we can see in this code view, obviously. Okay, I'm getting there. As we learn in this code view now, COVID-19, is that I saw on Facebook people say, "Okay, mama, tell Vix boy, tell Congo bololo, tell boy." No one said, "Come and let me pray for you." I didn't see that. No poster went there said, "Oh, those who are bad COVID-19, come here." It didn't happen once. Everyone started saying, "Congo bololo, this and that and that." Why? Now, when for solution, as you said, for solution, we start elevating our ngangakisi. They're important also in the community. It has to start shining for us to beat this for further ahead, or else we'll keep losing people in stroke.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
Do we have someone, or do we which is doctor, that practices in African or Congolese medication and herbs? Because I don't know one.
I can answer that question.
I have.
I think if we're honest with ourselves, we all know of that person. We all know of that. Now, if we're honest, the reason why I'm saying that is because they're always shunned out of the family.
Yeah.
They're always pushed out of the family. Ask mom, ask grandma, ask dad, ask anyone. There's always a part of our family where there is one person who's like, well, I'm one of them. I'm one of those people that have been pushed back.
I mean, in our community, because these things we tend to I tend to buy it from other African communities or even some Asian communities. But I mean, in our community,
we have those
where
people.
are you going to send me to?
Okay, first of all, for those who listen to Marlene, that question is very important, by the way. Now, the bash in Seven Sisters, every Congolese knows Seven Sisters. The bash in Seven Sisters are currently selling those herbs. When I go there,
she has a shop next door.
There you go.
To it.
Exactly. Yeah. The lady tells me, she tells me, Pamphil, oyo, airpona boy.
And
oyo, airpona boy.
To add to what you just said, I'm one of those people who's selling those teas.
Oh yeah, I got me some, so I'm good.
No, but the viewers.
But at the same time, there's another lady, her company's Bikudi, that sells more of a hygienic product. So your hair products, your soap, all of that kind of stuff, your body cream, all of that stuff. So there's plenty if you ask, if you look. But it's that naivety that we want to cling on to because we, like I said, white is right. So we just want to be there. But to conclude, though, I just want to ask the two of you to summarize what you took from the question and what you want the guests, our guests, to take from this session. Just 1 minute, Marlene.
I would say take what you want to take from it, because we've said a lot of things, both be positive or negative. What you want to take from this show, it's up to you what you decide that you want to receive from this. But on my view, I would say that you need to understand that our community, we need to unite. And most of us have a lack of knowledge. So you need to research to know what is going on. Let's stop paying attention on the entertainment side. I know when it comes to Congolese people, we are naturally born to the entertainment. We do it without even knowing that we're doing it. And music is our thing. But we need to also look onto the other side of it. And what Pamphil said, pastors, stay in your lane. If you're going to pray for me, pray for me. If you pray for me, I also need to go to the hospital to do a follow-up to know what my situation is. Politicians, stop playing politics with our lives. This goes to everyone. We know that currently the Western, the African, everything is a clash, but there needs to be a place that we can meet halfway in order for your people to have peace. Africans, grow a pair of balls and unite. Literally, unite. We never had borders before in our time. We used to cross anyhow. I could be Nigerian for all I know, or Cameroon for all I know, and landed in Congo. I don't know. But you need to grow parables and really unite. And that really goes for the diaspora community as well. We are so busy insulting each other. Ekolo, Nini, Muswahili, Mutetela, and this and that. And then you want to talk about, oh, I shouldn't mingle with a Ghanaian or a Nigerian. I'm black, I'm African. If I go where it works for me, I go where I'm being pushed. We're supposed to be one.
That's true. Thank you.
Yeah. A poor community is a community that have dead-minded men. That's a poor community. I said this because everything that we just said now is not impossible. It's possible. It can be implemented for our own benefit. But for that to happen promptly, we will need men, strong men, not a muscle, mentally. We need that because men are there to reinforce the law. That's what I wanted to say.
I would second that on the female side. I'm thinking, because I agree.
Let's say there's not a lot of strong men anymore these days.
I'd second that on the female side because we don't admit. So my take on it is we don't admit as females that we are the deconstruction, or at least helping in the deconstruction of our community. But yet we can bring it together because, as we say, we are the glue. So, but we're not using the glue in the right places. We're sticking it anywhere and everywhere, and it's just some messed up place, messed up stuff. We spend more time with the children. We spend more time in the home. We nurture the planet. So we have an ultimate responsibility to make sure that our men do what they're supposed to be doing. And we have the ultimate responsibility as females to make sure that, I remember, I think it was the Batetela, whereas if there was, the men were out there in the forefront fighting against the Belgians, the female were making sure that they were fed. The female were making sure that they figured out the logistics of how to get them to and from back home safely.
The same way as here in this
females.
country.
So those are the rebel Batetela. So they were rebelling in two forms. Everybody knew their lane. You at the forefront physically, we're at the back here, intelligence, logistics, we've got you. We've got you. And every female needs to understand we need to have their backs like that. We need to have it. And once we start having our men's back, everything else just falls into place. Thank you for watching. That concludes today's episode. Thank you to Marlene, to Mr. Bantu, and everybody else who's watching. And we hope to see you again very soon.